I'm back with part 2 of the moon journal. So we need to do the spine, which I was supposed to cover when I was covering everything else but didn't. So let me so I'll show you how it's looking. I think it's come together really well. So just a quick recap, if you didn't see part 1 is available, but we covered the Weetabix. I'm saying we because you're doing it with me. We covered just a normal Weetabix packet with like a fleecy underlayer first of all, just to make it a bit softer. I can't say it's made much of a difference, but I think had it have just been the cord on its own, it would have been not as sturdy, so it wouldn't be as sturdy as it is now, and it would have been a bit harder. But I don't think it makes much of a difference. If you're just starting out, this is your first journal and you want to have a go with a cereal packet, just do the 1 layer. That I think that's absolutely fine, but I'm pleased I've done the 2 layers anyway. So far we've done 2 layers. We've done a fleece layer and the cord navy blue layer, which is nice and soft material anyway. It's stuck down really well. There's a little bit of movement there for some reason, but it's not an issue. It's well glued all round and all in here. That's not going to cause any problems. So that's going to be the front of the journal there. So that's that bit done. So I'm just going to quickly cover. I'm going to try and make this quick because my videos are far too long. I'm not the fastest crafter in the world, unfortunately. So I'm not going to worry too much which way round the lines are going. I don't think that really it doesn't matter to me anyway. So I'm going to make sure that I've got about 1 inch all the way round. Let's just move things out. I've got everything out in the way. There we go. So I'm not going to measure. I don't tend to measure, in case you hadn't noticed. I'm just going to roughly cut so that I've got about 1 inch all the way round the spine. So this is the internal spine, and that's what I'm going to sew the pages to, the signatures. I'm trying to keep this in camera, so let's get rid of that. And then it's a bit wonky obviously because I don't measure, but so what we're gonna do is cover it with Mod Podge, the spine, and then stick it down basically. But I'm not going to, I'll show you what I do with the edges just quickly. So I'm using Mod Podge. You can use PVA, any sort of thing like that. This is what I use. I just trust this. It's what I use. So just cover. I'm just using a spongy thing. A sponge on a stick. I don't know what its technical name is. I'm not very good with names. It is bin day, so you may hear crashing. Just get that covered. I'm trying to be quick. Partly because I don't want the video to be too long and I need to go to work. There we go, so that's well covered, and then we're just going to stick that down onto the back of the fabric, so you've got your good side showing, like that. Stick that down and then just turn it over, just make sure it's nice and smooth, whoops, or just pucker it up like I did then. Nice and smooth. Oh, I've just unravelled it completely. I have noticed with this cord fabric it doesn't glue instantly, but it does in the end, if that makes any sense. So I'll grab some clips because I'm not going to glue all the way around the edge this time. It's just going to be the two top sections because I want that to be left, and then that it'll make more sense. I'm not making any sense. I want that to be left open at the moment because that glues directly into the journal. I will show you. That's way too much glue, but it's okay because that'll all be glued into the journal, so we won't see that. Got it everywhere. I don't know, we might not need those clips in the end. So just making sure we're just gluing the two top sections, those two there, and then we're going to leave that open. So that's all glued. I will just probably put, no, I'm gonna leave it. I don't think it needs the clips on. Sometimes if you put clips on, it leaves a bit of a mark on the fabric. So if I can get away with it, which I think I have. So that's that. That was nice and easy. I should have done that in part one, but forgot. If you've watched part one, you'll see that there's a few mistakes going on. But that is life. Okay. Oh, I haven't put that lid on very well. Hold on. I can do that in a minute. You can do that in a minute, Becky. Stop messing around. Right, so we'll put that. So I'll just show you what I mean. Once we glue it into the journal, once it's got the signatures in and everything, I'll be able to get this to sit flat. It really has gone, it's glued well. So once that's got all the signatures on and everything, we just glue it in like this, and then that covers this section. So you've got extra that, you know, the excess there. I'm not explaining myself very well, but you can see what I mean. So that is that done. We'll let that dry. So we'll put that to one side. We'll put the journal to one side for now. And then next, what I wanted to just quickly do was I'm going to put this somewhere on the journal with Dream on. This is the Moon journal, but I thought that'd be quite nice with Dream. So what I'm going to do is get some Fabri-Tac, just glue, because these are all the things we need to prepare before we finish the inside, because once I put the inside covers on, we can't really peg anything else to the outside without it being seen, if that makes sense. So just put some Fabri-Tac all the way around. This does work. I did this for the fairy journal as well. It come out really nice. So we'll just glue that to the Dream. A piece. It's just paper, cream paper that I've printed on. I've just printed Dream onto it. I mean, I probably could just make it look a little bit more vintagey, but so that's that. I'll put the lid on the glue. I'm trying to be good and glue things down. Put lids on. And then, whoops, can't get that. Sorry about this. I need to get a new board. I've wrecked this one with different projects. So next we'll just trim roughly around it. It doesn't have to be anything too thingy at the moment because this is still wet. So yeah, I can trim it beforehand really and then glue it on if you wanted to, but I don't trust myself to get it quite right. So I'm just gonna roughly, obviously that will be tidied up once it's dry. I don't want to move it around too much. And then if you get, I'm going to use this glossy accents, and basically it makes it look, I don't know if I haven't got my fairy journal in here, it makes it look like it's resin, but it does form bubbles, which is a bit annoying. So I've got my little pokey stabby thing, and what I'm going to do is just slowly, you're not supposed to squeeze it. I think you're supposed to squeeze it to get it going, I think. Yeah, so you just put, I'm squeezing it too much, I think. So you're supposed to just sort of gently, it did come out lovely for the fairy journal, so I'm hoping it does the same. And it's difficult because I'm trying to keep you in camera. You can zoom in on me as well if this is a bit too far away and you want to see what I'm doing. There might be easier ways to do this, but I'm in a bit of a rush. Probably shouldn't be doing this when I'm in a rush. And then you just fill the whole area with this glossy accents. It's quite a big area. I'm going to make the little typewriting buttons as well with it, the little keys. I'll do a video on that at some point. I haven't made any yet, so I'll do a sample, and then I am squeezing it, I've got to be honest, because I need to hurry up. It says not to squeeze it, or I watched a YouTube saying don't squeeze it, but I can't see how else it's going to come out, if I'm honest. So make sure the areas are filled. I think it's probably meant for smaller things as well, but I really liked how it came out for the fairy one, so I thought I'd do that. Now it does dry clear and it does look like resin. So what I'm going to do, just pop the lid on that and just go and have a look. So there's a bit of an area there. But I don't think, actually, considering, sorry, you probably see my face, considering I've just squeezed that and done it really quick, there's a bubble there. You're supposed to just poke them, but I'm going to leave that. I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm not overly bothered about that little bubble there. I don't think that's anything to really worry about. Once that's dry, what I'm going to do is put the little split pins in. Split pins, is that the right word? Those anyway. Yeah, I think it's right. So I'm going to put that to one side because I don't want to knock it round. And then I'll put the split pins in, and then I'm also going to, I will show you all doing this when it's dry. I won't jump ahead without you. So also in the journal, sorry, on the front, I'm thinking about putting corners on, because I think that'll be quite nice once everything's together. I'm not sure about front and back. So you need to think about with your journal, before you continue inside and start working on your signatures, you need to think about, what do you want on the front? Not necessarily front cover as such, because you could do that at the end, unless it needs pinning, because anything that's going to stick through or show at the back, you want to be able to cover. So you just need to have a bit of a plan, or as you go along, think, right, what do I want? So I might put corners on this. I think it will look really nice. Then obviously I'm going to put the dream sign somewhere. I'm going to have a moon. I'm not sure where I put it, but I did print out a picture of a moon for the front, excuse me. And I'm also going to have this little split pin with the ring on. That's going to be obviously inserted, so I'll need to make a hole. And then that's going to be hanging there. What time is it? Have I got time to quickly do that? Yeah, so I might just do that now. So I'm going to lay that out flat so you can kind of see where the glue hasn't taken all that well on parts, but I don't think it's a major issue. It's not going to upset the journal when it's in it, you know, when it's laid out properly, when it's folded up. So what I'm going to do is just grab my tool that I use for making holes for the signatures. I'll just grab, because this is very sharp, I'll just grab a piece of cardboard, and I'm going to roughly just see where I want it. So I think, just make sure the card's underneath, I think about there. That's about middle there. So I'm just going to pop that through, just make sure it's gone all the way through. Yeah. And make a decent hole because they're quite thick. That's it. And then, so there's the hole there. Put the cover back on that. Put that away. And then this is fairly simple, but it's just going to add something else to the journal. So it's just a case of putting the pins together and then popping it through the hole that you've just made. It is quite big, so you just have to. I could have perhaps used my crocodile as well to make a hole in that. That's it, it's gone through. There we go. So that's sitting nicely, I think, just about there, isn't it? And then just fold those out like that. And then what I will do before I start covering, mind you, that will have the spine, but I might just put a piece of tape, a piece of washi tape or something over that, just because it's a bit sharp. So that's going to be the little, well, that's attached now. So like I say, it's just planning for things that you want to be able to cover up in the before you cover the inside of the journal. So then my plan is to use some embroidery string, some embroidery, cottons, hanging from there, and then I'll have these little stars, these little wooden stars coming from it. But obviously you don't have to put that on. You could just put ribbon down the spine or leave it as it is. There's glue coming off my hands. Sorry, it's getting on the journal. So that's that bit done. I'll think about the corners. I'll let the dream sign dry. That's got to go on. And then we'll start working on the front cover, because I'd like to get that done, I think, before I start inside. The spine's drying, so we're on it. We've got the spine drying. We've got that back part attached. We've got we're going to fix the corners, I think. I'll show you doing that, and we'll make nice tassel for the back. I think that colour will look nice with, I've got bits everywhere. I think that colour will look nice on the back there. And that's it for this one. Okay, sorry it was a bit rushed. Thank you.